Hello and welcome to this presentation on our Natural Disasters and Commodities Tool submission for the IBM Watson Analytics Global Competition 2016. My name is Livia Botyanszki and I'm presenting on behalf of my team from Dalhousie University. Out of 195 official countries, there are only 42 countries that produce commodities. These commodities are categorized as cereals, oilseeds, meats, dairy, and sugar, and they make up the basis of virtually all of the food products consumed by the world population of 7.4 billion people. The welfare of the world's food product supply is directly linked to the production in these 42 countries. Therefore, any event that causes a disruption in production increases market risk. Our project created a unique dashboard tool for the exploration of the historical impact of natural disasters on commodity production and international commodity prices. The fundamental question of our project is, does there exist a relationship between international commodity prices, commodity production, and natural disasters? Datasets made available by the FAO, the OECD, and the CRED were combined to form the foundation of our tool. We wrangled these datasets using Microsoft Excel to form our final dataset consisting of the following columns: years, countries, disaster types, disaster occurrences, commodity categories, production values, percent change types, and finally, percent change values. Now let's take a look at the dashboard. Our dashboard tool consists of 5 tabs, with an overview tab showing the relationship between all 3 datasets over time and 4 additional tabs that explore these relationships. On the overview tab, we can choose a country and a disaster type and see the historical impact on commodity production in that country, as well as the change in international commodity prices given these production changes. Taking a look at the Commodity Production tab, we can select a commodity and see the major producers on the left and the change in production as it relates to the change in price on the right. Looking at the Natural Disaster Occurrence tab, we can select a disaster and see the countries that are most impacted by that disaster, as well as the disaster occurrence over time. The Disaster versus Production tab allows us to pick a country and view the disaster occurrence in that country against the percent change in production. Finally, the Natural Disaster versus Commodity Price tab. Here we can select a disaster type and a commodity and view the relationship between the disaster occurrence and the percent change in price. Now for some insights. Here we can see the 42 countries that produce commodities, as well as their production magnitude. The United States, Brazil, India, and China are the top producers of commodities overall. These bubble charts show us the top producers of commodities by commodity type. We can see in the colored example that China, United States, and India are top producers of cereals. This slide shows the percentage of countries whose production has an impact on prices. We can see that few countries actually impact meat and dairy prices independently. This slide shows the percentage of countries that experience a decrease in production when impacted by disaster type. We can see that about 20% of countries experience a production decrease when impacted by extreme temperatures. And on the right, we can see that Russia's production shows a strong relationship to the occurrence of disasters. In this slide, we can see the types of natural disasters that show a relationship with commodity prices. We can see that meat prices are susceptible to the most natural disaster types, whereas oil seeds seem to be only susceptible to volcanic activity. Using IBM Watson Analytics, we were indeed able to observe relationships between international commodity prices, commodity production, and natural disasters. As there are relatively few commodity producers, international commodity prices are likely to be increasingly impacted by the occurrence of natural disasters. To mitigate market risk, it is imperative that further research is conducted on these relationships. We hope that you have enjoyed our presentation and sincerely appreciate your time and consideration. Thank you.